Chucky. And I'm your friend to the end. Heidi fucking ho. Ha, ha, ha.
And welcome back to Chucky Queers. It's the penultimate episode, and I'm Joe.
And I'm Trace, everyone, and we are talking Twice the Grieving, Double the Loss, which is episode 7. But Joe, did you know that Fiona Dourif is playing a young Charles Lee Ray in these episodes?
Oh my God, what? Yes. Thank you to everyone who reached out and made sure that we knew, because we didn't touch upon it in the last couple of episodes. Of course, we recorded those in advance and we did make a note of them in the show notes. But you know what? We love that so many of you cared enough to reach out personally. So thank you very much for letting us know.
And a lot of you did. So yes, thank you. We were, for the record, very aware the day after episode 5 dropped. And of course, we're like, oh shit, we have 2 of these in the bank where we don't comment on Fiona Dourif. So unfortunately, it is what it is. But here we go. We can talk about it now. Unfortunately, these flashbacks are continuing, and they don't serve a purpose for me yet. Like, I was honestly fine with them in the beginning, but obviously what we're doing is we're leading up to Child's Play. We're leading up to Charles Lee Ray getting in that toy store, getting attacked. Really fingers crossed for Chris Sarandon in that finale. But
my heart, my sweater.
But yeah, so the scenes in this episode, it's just they move into an apartment in Chicago and they order pizza, and that is it. There's no other narrative purpose in this episode. But
so you and I speculated about this offline, and I think it may tie in with why Jennifer Tilly is suggesting that she knows Logan, the Devon Sawa character. So she claims that she knows him, and she even insinuates that meatballs or Swedish meatballs rather are his favorite food, which again, I was like, no, we don't need to go back here. But I did wonder if we're going to do some kind of suggestion that, well, Charles Lee Ray is off robbing this toy store and getting murdered by Chris Sarandon, if maybe what's also going to happen is that Jennifer Tilly is going to be having an affair with Logan.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely what they seem to be implying, and I'm here for it. I get my only worry right now, because I like this episode fine, but it's one of those where it's like, okay, we're coming off like a lot of things that happened last episode, and we're building up to the finale. So this unfortunately was just a lot of table setting for the finale. And a lot has happened in this show. I'm just worried a little bit that there's going to be too much for this finale to unpack, but there we are.
Well, I think we're definitely getting set up for some kind of cliffhanger that's going to feed into a potential second season, which also we have seen Don Mancini and the Chucky accounts referring to the numbers, and they are good. So I don't know why Sci-Fi and USA Network are pausing on this renewal notice. Like, I need a second season confirmed, and I needed it yesterday.
I wonder if they'll do it between episodes, like between the penultimate and the finale, to like boost numbers for the finale. But nevertheless, okay, so this episode, I mean, like, we were pretty on point, because I'm just so happy when Alexi and all them were like, why are they killing the parents? And I was like, ding, 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 ding.
Oh my God, we finally got something right. Yeah.
I know, we've been really bad at pitching things this season.
It's true.
But I was also right about Devin wanting to pull back from Jake.
Yes. Yeah. That was definitely one of the sad moments. I mean, I think you said it right when you said that this is a table setting episode. And I think partially it's because we're coming off of 2 massive deaths. So we did have to deal with these traumatized children. And so we're pulling back on that regard. We're seeing Devin and Jake both kind of trying to pull away a little bit. Jake even tries to run away at one point. So it's some upsetting kid stuff. And then, of course, we also get to the junior of it all, which, Trace, I feel like you also correctly predicted that.
I think I predicted that as well. I know, right? Oh my God, my scorecard's so much better than yours right now. It's so funny because, you know, we spent actually the first half of these episodes thinking there were 10 episodes this season. And unfortunately, we were wrong. There were only 8. And while I'm happy that I was right about Junior's trajectory, it still feels a little rushed to me. Like, it happens so fast, but it also might just be because we haven't really spent much time with Junior by himself. So we haven't gotten to see this development. Like, we've seen his anger boil, but like not to the point where I've been like, oh yeah, I would buy that this kid would kill his father.
Yeah, I almost wish that we had seen or heard or glimpsed little bits of Chucky kind of running around whispering sweet nothings in all the kids' ears, because I can buy that Lexi wouldn't have been swayed last week, whereas this week it felt just a little bit too rushed. Or maybe we needed to spend a little bit more time with Junior really being stuck in that grief and thinking the worst of everyone.
I mean, I also wouldn't have minded seeing Junior see Chucky for the first time. Like, we missed that interaction where we don't get to see how he responds to a talking doll, which, I mean, I guess he was fine with it because it's literally just like, all right, he's already along for the ride.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. we never get that moment of surprise, even where he goes, oh, when Lexi told me that the night of the mayor's press conference where the school teacher was beheaded, or sorry, the principal was beheaded, you know, he scoffed at them. And this should have been his moment of, oh, shit. And also, I don't care because what this doll is saying is really connecting with me. Yeah,
you're totally right. But I mean, I will say, though, I love the Tiffany of it all. I'm all here for all things Jennifer Tilly. That bound joke. I mean, here's the thing. We've already had this happen in Seed of Chucky. So I was kind of like, okay, we're dipping back into that well. But honestly, I didn't care.
No, because it's so good. And honestly, Tilly is so good in these scenes. Like the moment she gets out of the car, we're focusing on the high-heeled ankle. And then we pan up and she's in a literal Black Widow dress. Like the dress looks like it's spider webs. She is vamping the fuck out of it, whispering nothings in Logan's ear. All of her interactions with Logan and Junior were just absolutely delightfully campy and everything that I want from Tilly. Like we talked about how we didn't feel like she was hitting the mark in that first episode. Like the dialogue wasn't good. Her performance seemed a little odd. And here I'm like, no, this is what I wanted.
Yeah. Like she's back in the groove now. Yes. And it really feels like she's back in this character. I 100% agree with you. I guess the only other the big thing is, you know, we had Andy leaving Kyle behind at this gas station, which I'm kind of like, okay,
sure.
Like,
yeah.
Again, the problem here is we haven't seen enough of just Andy and Kyle to be like, well, why is he doing this? I'm sure we'll find out next week, but it's one of those things where it's like, okay, I mean, I don't really know why this is important, but like, boo you, Andy.
I think he's just more fucked up and Kyle is realizing it and she doesn't trust him to be on his own. So he's going to go rogue and I'm assuming attack not people, but like he's going to come after Chucky with everything that he's got.
I mean, that's how the way this episode ends, we've got Junior we talked about major deaths last week. Junior kills his father this week. So, you know, there's that.
I did love the way that it was shot where we got to see the Chucky doll's face reacting.
Yes.
That was a lot of fun.
There were some really good effects in this episode.
Yeah. I even like the moment where Junior is holding Chucky to like advance upon his father, because I thought that it was a bit of a funny way of insinuating that he's being puppeted. Like Chucky is voicing Junior's concerns, but really it's Chucky who's being puppeted by Junior and vice versa.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like, again, it's a good little reversal of themes, and I love that. Again, I just wish we had more time with Junior. I mean, a shitty character as he is, to like have this journey be more believable. But we're moving at a pretty rapid clip at this point.
Well, yes. And of course, we've been dancing around the big thing that everyone will undoubtedly be talking about, which is the fact that because Junior kills his father, he has activated some other part of this Chucky curse. And all of a sudden now all of the Chucky dolls are sentient.
Yes. Okay. So, I mean, so we leave Devin tied up in a room by Nika Chucky with all these dolls. And it's like, okay, so I mean, this is where the ending of Cult of Chucky really comes into play. I mean, obviously, this whole season has been a sequel to Cult of Chucky, but this is where we're like, okay, finally, we're seeing like, what is this plan? I still don't know what it is, but
yeah, no. And that's kind of one of the big teases going into this finale that I love, that we still don't really... We know what has happened, but we don't understand the how or the why of it. And we have no idea where this is going. But I will say, you know, we heard Andy, I think, saying last week that he has accounted for all of the dolls. And he said there was only a couple left. And then we see that shot of Devin. There's got to be about 25 of those motherfuckers. So they have clearly underestimated Chucky.
Something we haven't been doing in these episodes, that I mean, it's just more work for us, but I did spot a couple of horror homages in this episode. One specifically was, of course, the room that Tiffany and Charles get in Chicago is room 237, which is The Shining. And this isn't really an homage, but I do find it interesting that Devin has a poster of Truman Capote's In Cold Blood on his wall.
Noted gay true crime author, yes.
Yeah, with a lot of layers there. But yeah, so, okay. Where do you think we're ending up with this finale?
I mean, this is the moment, right? Everybody finally has to come together. So we finally got Jennifer Tilly interacting with some of the other members of the cast here. Presumably, Andy and Kyle will finally make it to Hackensack and maybe save the day. I feel like we might lose Andy.
Andy's already there. He's at the house.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
But not the right house, unfortunately.
Right. Yes.
I think we'll have to rescue Devin. I don't think we're going to kill off one of the kids, but I do think we're headed for a major cliffhanger. So I think these dolls are going to get out.
I'm wondering if Junior is going to be the big bad of season 2, or like at least join the big bad team. I will say, and because she wasn't really the highlight of this episode, but I am still shocked at how much I am loving Lexi.
Right. Yeah.
The interaction between her and Jake and Devin. I mean, we haven't talked about Jake either, but Jake doesn't really have much to do in this episode. But I really love the dynamic between these kids. And like, that's not something I would have thought I would have said after that first episode.
My God, no. We've had listeners comment on the fact that how much they have come around on Lexi. And I'm in full agreement. Like, we were calling this child very nasty terms in those first couple of episodes. So the way that they have moved that character around throughout only 7 episodes is so impressive. And I also love the fact that we got a reference to Chosen Family in this episode. So
yes. Oh my God,
that was really important.
Out. I'm glad you mentioned that, because yes, that 100% stuck out of my mind when that scene happened.
Yeah. And again, like, I think for queer people, you hear that term and you just think like, okay, the show knows exactly what it's doing. And we're getting that little extra nugget that makes the series so much more meaningful to us as queers.
I agree. But yeah, I mean, next week, I mean, I think you're right. I think we're heading into a big cliffhanger, and I'm excited to see what happens.
I'm nervous.
I am too. I'm sure all the parents are going to die. I mean, the rest of the parents are going to die. Lexi.
Oh my God, that mayor has to be killed. I need her. Die. Oh yeah, we're obviously going to end at Frankenstein, and Jennifer Tilly is going to be that special guest.
Oh, I forgot. So one theory, I don't remember if we posited this or not, but one theory people have is because the science teacher is still arrested. We didn't mention this last week, but when Devin's mom was interrogating her, she was like, about your troubled past. And we don't know what that past is yet, but some people have theorized that she is actually Glenda grown up.
I think that would be the biggest swing for this series. Yeah. I would be very, very surprised. I don't think that's what it's going to be.
I hope we get Glenda in that finale. Like, if we get that kind of a reveal or something, that would be, maybe that's the cliffhanger.
I would love it. I would be so here for it.
All right. Well, until next week, everybody, we can cross out twice the grieving, double the loss.
Indeed. And cross out Chucky queers.
Hello, I'm Shelby Scott, the host of Scare You to Sleep, a podcast where I tell you spooky bedtime stories full of creepy sound effects and music that is soothing yet unsettling to help immerse you into a world of horror. This is a show for those of us who have realized horror can be a strange but relaxing escape from reality. Speaking of escapes, sometimes I lead you through guided nightmares, like a guided meditation, but instead of flowery meadows, I take you on a journey through your own personal nightmare. So come get lost in the terror with me. Listen to Scare You to Sleep wherever you listen to podcasts, or find us online at bloody.fm. Sweet screams.